Hey guys, what's going on? This is Travis P11, and I just wanted to talk for a little bit. I just got done watching, well, I just got back from getting groceries, so I'm a little bit late to post this video. It's been a very busy weekend, and I waited a while to post a response to the Sutherland Springs shooting that happened down in Texas at the First Baptist Church. Just something about this is I've been trying to educate myself on what happened the whole day today. I've heard so many different accounts on so many different news networks. Everything from it was people in the parish that fired back to I've heard all kinds of crazy stuff. Now that as much information is out there as I feel I need to know to be educated on what happened, I just wanted to talk about it for a few minutes and maybe kind of create a dialogue or start to create some thoughts on what it means, about carrying in church and stuff like that. Honestly, I just got done watching Clover Tack's lawn chair video as I was making dinner, and he was pointing out a channel that hadn't expressed their opinion. I think it was about the shooting, or the guy had mentioned on this one channel that he wanted to have a dialogue, and that we've invited him from gun channels. A lot of the gun channels guys have talked to him, and he's turned it down every time to sit and have a discourse, have a discussion with gun channels on what do you do? What do you do about firearms? What is the solution? What is the answer? At least that's what I'm taking from the discussion that Clover Tack was having. I think it's a responsible thing to do as having a gun channel on YouTube, to get out there and maybe just kind of share your thoughts on the events and kind of where you stand politically, and not kind of keep yourself in the dark. I don't do a whole lot of political videos. I've been posting a bunch of videos from the Second Amendment rally that I attended this weekend, and hopefully after that, if you saw my speech, or you saw Triple D's speech, or you saw the coverage I was trying to bring you from Nebraska, you can see that I am very wholeheartedly pro Second Amendment. All right. I mean, I don't try to hide about that at all. And I'm hoping I can do a debrief tonight on Matt's Never Enough Ammo Guns and Geeks podcast chat tonight. Right. Just a couple things about the shooting. From what I've read so far, the guy acquired the gun illegally. He lied on his background check when he bought the long gun. This could all change. Who knows? We could find out the guy bought the gun from somebody up the street. But what I've seen so far, it looks like the guy had lied about a background check. He had been dishonorably discharged. He had gotten in trouble for, I believe, domestic assault or battery or abuse of his wife or ex-wife at the time. Essentially, the guy wasn't supposed to have a gun. He had been all kinds of trouble. He had caused all kinds of problems. They said he had texted his in-laws or his mother-in-law, and who knows what was said in that kind of a situation. That is a horrific tragedy, and it's awful that it happened. Okay, I just want to get that out right now. I mean, if somebody's going to walk in with an AR-15 and start shooting at a group of innocent people, it's going to be hard to stop that initially when it happens. Furthermore, I want to say that the two gentlemen that chased him down and caused him to either have an accident, which caused him to off himself, or the guys that persuaded him to run away and stop shooting, the guys that chased him down in the pickup while he was in his SUV, those two guys are heroes, straight up. The fact that some stranger stopped to pick up another stranger to get this person before they did more damage to human lives, I think that speaks volumes about how people feel about wanting to live and the right to live, okay? And protect yourself with the firearm. I think it speaks volumes when you're willing to go into danger, just your average person, to try to stop somebody that just got done killing a bunch of people in a church, right? So, when it comes to the shooting, it was a horrific tragedy. Is more regulation going to fix it? No, I don't think so. I mean, if you regulate the laws and the rules on people that abide by the laws and rules, the bad guys are going to find ways to get guns. They always do. Just look at foreign countries where the bad guys have guns. Look at the black market that exists for anything that you want to buy, right? I don't think there's really any way that you can stop it, to be honest with you. The only thing that's going to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. A gun is just a tool in the hands of the wrong person that does the wrong things, in the hand of the right person that does the right thing. All right. And once that guy was confronted with a gun, he left the scene and ran, right? He got in his vehicle and drove off. I mean, I'm really inspired by some of the videos that I've been seeing on YouTube, where a lot of us are saying, what do these shootings have in common? What stopped all these shootings? Is regulation going to prevent it? No, I don't think so. So on that note, it was a horrific tragedy, and it's awful that it happened. The guys that stopped him should be commended for what they did. They went into the face of danger, and they prevented, the guy from doing any more damage to anything other than himself. Now, when it comes to carrying in church, I'm not trying to be a hypocrite here. There's certain laws that exist in certain states where you're not allowed to carry in a church, or you can carry in a church, or you can only carry if there's a notice put up about it, or you can't carry if there isn't a notice. It's very confusing because we've got so many different laws and rules and policy. I believe in Nebraska, It is, I know it's illegal to carry in a church that's not previously marked or doesn't allow it stated on the door. The church has to be registered with the Highway Patrol. You have to have the parish approve members to carry firearms in the church or be a gun-free church, right? Um, and so I'm not telling anybody to carry to church. If you do that, you could risk getting yourself into a lot more trouble versus going into a business where they simply have to ask you to leave, right? Now, I'm sure there are people that do it. They don't care. Their lives are more important to them. And I can't say I disagree with you, okay? Now, I can encourage people to not break the law by carrying into places that they're not supposed to, hospitals, schools, government buildings, and churches. But if you're a church member, what you should be doing is talking to whatever branch is in control of your church, whatever committee or chair or pastor runs your parish or your church, and find out if you can get concealed carry allowed in your church. Now, you're probably going to see some opposition from it. There might be ordinances against it. There might be city local laws that prohibit it. There might be state laws that prohibit it. And you might not have a fighting chance to get that law to pass. In my own church, I'm currently trying to work with the committee. I'm currently working with our representatives from the church so that we can get the right to carry passed. I mean, I haven't done a formal presentation. I've been discussing the idea with some of the members, and there's a process in Nebraska that a church can go through if they want to allow members to carry or have a designated security force to be armed during the services. One thing that you got to keep in mind about these old churches, there's not a lot of exits, and it's a very narrow, long path that a person has to go to get out of the church. There might be one exit way at the back, 3 doors at the front. You got to run through one of those 3 doors. If you have multiple assailants, you're going to get the kind of body count that you saw at Sutherland Springs. And so as church members, you need to seriously consider your safety. Now, you can say God's going to protect us. You can say, well, the cops will get there and they'll stop it. No, look how quickly this event happened at that First Baptist Church. It was very quick. Maybe if more of their members had been armed, they might have been able to stop it. Maybe there were armed members in the church. I don't know. I was listening to an interview tonight where they had said that in Texas, it has to be posted that you can carry, or you're not supposed to carry in church unless it's allowed. And a lot of people feel like you're going to get in trouble if you do, unless it's not posted. It's very confusing for everybody. And that's one of the problems with having all these different laws and regulations from all these different states and ordinances. All it does is makes it more confusing for the good guys. So if you go to church and you're not allowed to carry in your church, begin the dialogue, begin the conversation with whatever committee you can to get it approved so that your members can start to carry. Get it approved, go through the state process that you're supposed to go through, get it on the book so you guys can defend yourself. You would think as more and more of these events happen, people would be more receptive to the idea. There are people that might simply say, well, I don't like guns, but I'm not going to carry one. Fine, I will protect you. Okay, I mean, there's always going to be those of us that are willing to do that. So myself included, I'm working on the process to try to get this approved in our own church. And I hate seeing these events happen, but every time they do happen, it's more and more proof that the only thing that's going to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Now, if you're at a church that vehemently opposes the idea of allowing you to carry, they simply won't let you do it, and you don't want to do it because you don't want to risk breaking the law, you might want to consider looking at another parish. All right. You might want to consider going someplace else where you're still going to get the worship that you want, the spirituality that you need, but they're still going to allow you to protect your body and self. Right. I'm kind of at that crossroads myself. I'm not going to sit here and announce that I want to walk away from my current church because I love going there. The people are fantastic. They're wonderful. I feel like I'm at home. They're some of the most caring, loving individuals I've ever met in my life. But at the same time, if the church isn't going to allow me to do anything to protect myself or protect the members, I'm sorry, we're sitting ducks. It's that simple. I mean, I don't want to see anything happen in the church, but what are we going to do? How do you protect yourself? I don't want to break the law by carrying in church, and I don't. Okay. I mean, I'm not afraid to admit that I'm not breaking the law because I don't carry in church. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to lose my concealed carry permit. So I am incredibly torn on the idea of not staying with my church if they don't allow me to carry, because there are other churches in town that do. And I would like to know that I have a fighting chance to defend myself and defend my parish by allowing me to carry in that church. I practice a lot. I go to the range a lot. I like to feel like I would be confident, comfortable in a situation like that to defend the church if I had to. So, that's just the situation with me. What do I do? What if my church says, no, we're not going to allow it? And it could be the insurance company doesn't allow you to carry. So therefore the parish won't allow you to carry. It could be a diocese decision. It could be something from the higher ups that you're not allowed to carry. It could be the church itself says, the majority says, no, we don't allow people to carry because there's no reason to. I mean, if you open your eyes and look around at what's happening and what's going on and where all these shootings take place, churches, malls, movie theaters, schools, gun-free zones, high target areas, right? that kind of a situation, the only way to stop it is to have an armed populace or an armed person on site that could possibly defend against that person. I was actually listening to an interview tonight on NPR, and before you thumbs down, I like to listen to the other side. I like to hear what the other side has to say. I like to hear their viewpoints. I think if you educate yourself on the knowledge that your opponent has, that you can better understand and strategize against their attack, their opinions. Okay. They had said, you know, when the guy was interviewing a police officer about the situation, he said, well, what do you do? This guy has an AR-15. He had body armor on. Can you stop him? And the guy said, you know, there's no answer for the situation, but if you had a person with a gun, they could have stopped that person. They could have slowed them down. Maybe that person would have ran as soon as the church member had drawn on them. Apparently the guy interviewing has never heard of a thing as a groin shot or a headshot, which would pretty much go through any kind of body armor unless the guy had some kind of Kevlar helmet on, right? So there are ways to stop these attackers. Yes, you would be seriously outgunned if you didn't have an AR-15 and your opponent did and you had a pistol. But you can stop that person. I mean, that's the idea, is the thought of being able to try to eliminate that threat is better than sitting there being an open target for a threat. All right, it's that simple. So my feelings on, again, on the church shooting, the church shooting in Sutherland Springs, it was an awful event. And as somebody that routinely attends church myself, you know, I sit there and think, where am I going to go if something happens? How am I going to get out of this place if something happens? I'm not armed. What am I going to do to protect my wife? What am I going to do to protect my church family? There's not much I can do right now. So that kind of thing really bothers me, and I think we need to take steps in my own personal parish for us to do that. So again, whether you go to church or not, I'm not trying to be all preachy and this and that, but I'm just saying, if you know people that go, have a conversation with them. Say, hey, are you guys allowed to carry at your parish you go to, or your church that you go to? Do they allow it? No. Well, why not? Who's going to protect those people if something happens? It's happening. It happens. Again, Yankee Marshall made a pretty good point. He goes, you know, you have discussions with people that say, well, the odds of that happening are so rare it'll never happen to you, until the odds don't fall in your favor, and it does. Anybody could be a target at any time anymore, right? There's just too many whack jobs in this world for us to not be safe. So have the discussion with people you know that go to church about talking about getting their members armed, or having an armed security team, or having some sort of a plan, right? Have those kinds of discussions. I think they're good things. If you're at a church that won't allow you to carry, what is more important to you? All right. What's more important to you? Your own personal protection, or, man, this is awful to say, the spiritual rejuvenation you get every Sunday when you go there. I mean, I'm sure there's other parishes that can provide you that personal protection by allowing you to protect yourself, as well as providing that spiritual portion that you need. I hope I'm not getting all weird about this, guys. I usually don't talk about this kind of thing, but after watching Clover and watching Yankee Talk and watching the news today, it's at a point where you need to be able to defend yourself 24/7. Now, if you're at a job that doesn't allow you to carry, and you got to worry about losing your job and or getting a felony or getting arrested if you carry, please don't break the law. Okay, I'm not encouraging you to do that. But do have discussions with your employers. What is our security plan? What are we going to do if there's something that happens? Because I want to see everybody safe. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Otherwise, guys, I think that's about it. I wanted to comment about the shooting. It was a horrific incident that took place. The guys that stopped him should be commended, because they are heroes for doing what they're doing. If you do attend church, discuss with your pastor, discuss with your committee, discuss with your priest, your rabbi, whatever you do, whatever you worship, discuss, why aren't we allowed to carry? Who's going to protect me when something like that happens? Because there's not a lot of time it's going to take for those people to do a lot of collateral damage. All right. So anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on the issue. I hope to see you guys tonight on the Guns and Geeks chat with Matt. I'm going to do a little debriefing on the 2A rallies, my thoughts about the whole situation. Also my reaction to how the media covered our event. I'd like to discuss that a little bit tonight too. And otherwise, I think that's pretty much about it, guys. I want to thank you for watching. You guys have a great night. I apologize I did not have the comments going during this podcast, because I wanted to focus on trying to think about what I wanted to say. And I think that's pretty much about it. So anyway, even if you don't go to church, have the discussion with friends that do. I'm sure you know somebody that goes to some sort of spiritual service. We want them to be safe. You have family members, you want them to be safe. Even if you don't do that thing, that's fine. That's great. I think nothing less of you if you don't. Okay. So otherwise, guys, have a great night. Okay. I will talk to you soon. I'll be bringing you more range tests. You guys know where to check me out. Social media. There's going to be links below in the video. So have a great night, guys, and we will talk to you later. All right. Bye-bye.